Well, hi there. My name's Nico. This is Life You Imagined, and today we're looking at the book Grit. Grit. So yes, you can't see that. Here, how's that? Better? Grit. This is a book by Angela Duckworth, which feels like it should be right out of a cartoon. And it is. Apparently, this was also a New York Times bestseller, specifically right there. So that's pretty impressive. Hopefully the rest of the book was also a New York Times bestseller. What is grit? Grit is, if we just read the subtitle, because that way I don't have to do much work, it's just right there. It's the power of passion and perseverance. So that should kind of give away what the entire book is actually about. So when I was young, I used to think that, and not even just young, this was actually for a good portion of my life, I used to think that when I was good at something, it was because I had talent in that area. Does that sound familiar? Have you ever thought that? Have you ever looked at famous athletes or performers, musicians, artists, anyone that you think is really, really good at what they do, and you ever thought to yourself, well, shit, they must have a ton of talent. They must be, gifted or a natural. You said that one? I've said that one before. And you see these things in people that you admire, and you think, well, obviously I can't do that because I don't have that talent. I'm not a natural at those things, blah, 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 blah. If you've said that before, then you might be interested in, I don't know if you forgot already, grit. Why might you be interested in this? As I said, I used to have this opinion, and I also noticed that anytime something got hard for me, I would easily quit. And what the story I told myself was that I don't have any talent in this area. I don't have any skill, or I'm not a natural, or something to that effect. I told myself that story. And so it was easy for me to quit something that was hard, and it was then naturally easy for me to persevere at something that was easy. But can you actually persevere when things are easy? That's not really how that word is supposed to be used. I think you only persevere when something's actually challenging, as opposed to like, I'm having the best time of my life and I persevered through every minute of it. And it's like, no, it doesn't work that way. Nah. Where was I? Oh, talking and the camera recording that. That's where I was. What was actually interesting about this book is that she interviews a lot of successful people, a lot of people at the sort of the top of their field, the top of their game, athletes, musicians, CEOs, all kinds of people that you would normally, I'm telling you what you think, you specifically would normally think that they have talent, and that's why that you in the general sense would think this. And it turns out that, and I'm not necessarily giving this away, as I said, it's in the fucking subtitle. It's right there, very, very close to the part of the book that's the bestseller. And that it's these people's willingness to persevere when things are hard. It's their willingness to fail over and over again, to do the things that most of us tend to give up on, and to give up easily on. And it's these people who, I guess, they just have like a different mindset toward failure and growth and what's required for success. A lot of times we think if something's not easy, we shouldn't do it. If something's hard, I guess that's the same thing, I just worded it two different ways. If something's hard, we also apparently shouldn't do it. In addition to it's not easy. Two totally separate things. Her style, her writing style is very journalistic. And this actually kind of reminds me of Susan Cain's book, Quiet, which was about introversion and journalistic. So it's kind of like she's sort of telling you the story about grit. It does feel, because it's journalistic, it feels like you're reading an article in a newspaper or something about it. So rather than her talking to you directly or talking to me directly as the reader. She's just kind of telling you about it and kind of exploring the science and about what perseverance is. And I mean, there's more to it. It's not just perseverance, but I can tell you that what I took away the most was perseverance. That was the main thing that I kind of realized for me that is sort of the determining factor. There's other elements that she talks about in there, is that your interest, and then she has another category like hope. So there's more details than I'm giving you. But again, the thing I do take from this still is that usually what you're seeing in people you admire who are very skilled and have demonstrated talent, it's not actually the talent that got them there. It is simply all of the failing and the hard work day after day after day. But see, the thing is, we don't see that, right? We don't see that in our culture, especially like you look at social media. That's a great example. So we always put our best foot forward. We put our best face forward, except for me, because so you can only see what people want you to see. So you often just see the nice things or the successful things, like, hey, look at my great family, look at I'm making money, look at my business, look at my whatever it is that you want to show people and you want to have them see. But you don't see all the struggle that may have, I'm not saying it did, but may have gone into creating whatever those things are. You don't see the failures that led up to the success. You don't see the emotional struggles, the physical struggles necessary to create something, to actually become good, to develop talent. And to me, that's one of those things that when I first read that, it was I know I did this. I don't mean that it was mind-blowing, but it was blowing my mind, man. It's mostly just because it fed off of old ideas of what I had in myself of why I was good at certain things and why I was not good at certain things. And I think it just comes back to the idea of that I had an interest in certain things, and that's why I pursued them, and that's why I worked on them. And in doing so, I developed skill. I developed what feels like talent. So in a way, it's kind of that, democratizing talent for everybody, almost everybody, for a lot more people than it would have been previously. So yeah, the journalistic style that she has does have a downside, and that feels like to me that it wasn't actionable enough for me. There's no like chapter review, there's no exercises in the book where she tells you, hey, now you, the reader, or specifically me, the reader, you do this, or try this, or think about your life this way, or when you're encountering this situation, maybe look at it this way, or try this thing. There was none of that. It was just telling you the story of grit, of why people become that way, or how they do, or that kind of stuff. So I would have liked a lot more applicability. I would have liked a lot more usefulness for the selfishly. For me, as the reader, I want more of that. I do find that to be pretty common in some of these kind of books. That it's very interesting. It's like, okay, this is a great topic. I like this. I'd like to learn more about this, but I want to learn selfishly how to do it for me and apply it to my life. So you can learn through the stories that she tells. She has a lot of interviews in here, so that's great. But there, I think it's a little lacking in that area. So. As I said, there's some pros, there's some cons. Overall, I think it's a very interesting book. I think the general premise is what really, really got me, because it changed how I used to think about things. You're either talented or you're not. And it's more like you either put in the work or you don't. It's that kind of thing. So yeah, if you feel that you've been struggling to be more productive, or if you feel you give up easily when something is challenging, or if you've ever stopped doing a project because you thought, I'm not talented, or I'm not a natural like so-and-so is, then you might actually be interested in this book. It might actually open your eyes to some things. I know I kind of gave you a lot of the basic things, but there's more to it than what I gave you. She gets more specific, and she gets more into kind of exactly how these people, apparently my coffee's done. I can't work under these conditions! Yeah, but she gets more specific about the details of how she breaks down grit, because there's actually more categories than just perseverance. But as I said, that was the big one for me. So yeah, if you want to know a little bit more, please check out the written review. I'm doing this because I'm putting it in the description below. You can see it on the Life You Imagined website. You can see a little bit longer of an opinion there. I also rate it, a score out of, from 1 to 5. And a little more detailed breakdown on things like readability and the information and validity and all the other kind of things. So please check it out. I also have links to the book on Amazon for their from that place, and those are affiliate links. I will go ahead and do full disclosure as opposed to partial disclosure. They're affiliate. Not going to tell you the next part. Partial disclosure. No, but if you click the link and you buy the book, or if you click the link and buy anything, I get a tiny, measly fraction of a cent, but it does help to support this and the website and make it so that maybe eventually I don't have to have a fucking day job and I can actually do something I give a shit about, which is what I want to be able to help you do at the same time. So, you got to walk the talk, I guess. So thanks for watching. This was Life You Imagined. My name is Nico, and I will see you next time. That was weird. It wasn't working for a second. Whatever. All right. What was... Just gonna pick up a lot in there. Floorboard. It's funny that I'm nervous. Like there's no one here. And yet, my heart's beating like a jackrabbit. Hello, everyone. It's funny because just starting out is weird. Hello, everyone. My name's Nico. This is Life You Imagined, and today we're looking at grit. Grit. Ooh, it's in 3D. It's perspective. Thank you. This was been Life. There.
Hey, you wanna be a better person? You wanna live a better life? Sweet! Make sure you hit subscribe on Life You Imagined YouTube channel. Don't forget to hit that fucking notification bell so you're always up to date with all the newest offerings from Life You Imagined. Don't forget to go ahead and hit like on the video and share with all your friends. Leave a comment with all your fucking useless information, cause I'm never gonna read it. Oh, and make sure you go over to lifeyouimagine.com and check out everything I have over there. Look at me, buy my stuff, do everything I want you to do. Sales, marketing, promo, buy my stuff, buy it. Look at me, pay attention to me and everything I do. I'm insecure.